Welcome back to Good Morning San Diego. According to the medical examiner, 375 unsheltered homeless people died of drug overdose in San Diego County alone last year. Here to talk about the direct connection between international drug trade and homelessness is Vista Mayor John Franklin. John, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me this morning.
So talk a little bit, because there was just recently in Vista 11 people that were arrested during a narcotics investigation. Explain the situation to me and explain how it all comes together.
That's right. One of the things that didn't get reported earlier last week is that this operation was targeted at individuals who are actually living in homeless encampments in our city. And they're providing methamphetamine and fentanyl to the people that are not only the people living in the encampments, but also they're selling them to people on the street. And that's ultimately how our narcotics detectives were able to make a series of buys in an operation that began in May of last year. So this was a long operation. It required a lot of intensive resources. But you know, I was the first member of our council, and I think I'm one of the first mayors to say, I want to walk with deputies and social workers through the encampments. You know, I had a hard time understanding how we're offering shelter, we're offering rehabilitation to people, and why are they declining? It's kind of a mystery to the average citizen that services are there, and we hear a lot about, are there enough services? The reality is that 94% of the time when we're offering services, individuals are declining those services. And unfortunately, for a great number of people that are chronically homeless, and this is important because we talk about people who are episodically homeless, those people are in programs and we're able to help them. And they want to help, and it's pretty easy to help them. But the people who are chronically homeless, the ones who are living actually unsheltered on the street, you pointed out that 375 of the 6,600 people living unsheltered in our county died last year from drug overdose. So when I talk about drug dealers selling drugs in encampments, these are not drug dealers, these are drug murderers. 375 people being killed by fentanyl and other opioids. We need to call it what it is, and we need to understand, and this is when I wanted to come on this morning to draw attention to the role that narcotic drugs and the illegal drug trade, and by the way, we know, because we're 50 minutes away from the border, we know basically what the flow of drugs is into the country, south of the border, and how it's affecting our city and all the cities in our county. It's really critical that we begin to connect the dots between the cross-border drug trade and the people, and this is a really important thing. We see people in brand new vehicles. They seem to prefer SUVs and pickup trucks, and they stop at these encampments once or twice a day, and they resupply them with drugs, and they pick up cash. And oftentimes, it's 2 times in particular, it's been reported that as many as 8 to 10 individuals in the back of a white panel truck were literally dropped off on one of the major arterial roadways and made a ready homeless encampment with all their tents and all their materials. So they didn't just sort of find their way there, they were deposited. This is trafficking. The people who are supplying and keeping people trapped in a cycle of opioid dependency in these encampments and sending them out to beg, borrow, and steal enough money to support their habit for the next day. This is a form of human trafficking. We need to recognize it for what it is, and we need to really begin to use law enforcement. I want to say a huge thank you to our deputies and the sheriff for this operation. I want to say thank you to District Attorney Summer Steffen, has been great. She's really focused on human trafficking, and she's really digging in on this. We need to bring these people to justice. We need to stop the drug trade on our streets because it's killing our kids. A lot of overwhelmingly young people are homeless on our streets. A high number of Caucasian, you know, people always ask me, are you seeing people that have come across the border? Are they the ones that are homeless on your streets? They're not. Those people have come here to work. I mean, you know, we need a secure border and we need law and order in our immigration process. But the reality is this is affecting the children that grew up in my city. It's from every income level, and it's really important. Last thing I wanted to say, I'm proud Vista has sent 4 firefighters to Los Angeles to help with the blazes there, and our heart goes out to everyone in LA. Yeah, it definitely does. Just really quick before we wrap up, do you feel like there will be more that you guys will continue? I mean, now that you have had success with this, I know it took a long time, and that you're identifying, I would imagine now you're going to try to push the ball forward on this. So this started because 4 years ago, I built the homelessness strategic plan, And that was a plan we started with the right hand of compassion to offer services. And we've documented now a statistical average of 20 different for each individual. We have 171 unsheltered individuals in the city of Vista. And we've documented a statistical average of 20 outreach efforts each time offering shelter, rehabilitation, housing navigation, every service you can think of. And we have all those declines. And then we have documented with our sheriff's deputies warning people that they're camping illegally, they're committing misdemeanor crimes. So we've not only offered the hand of love and assistance, but we've also warned that they're committing a criminal act. And now it's time with the left hand to be a city of law and order and to enforce our laws. And so I've asked our sheriff's deputies and our sheriff's captain for the last 2 years that I've been mayor to step up enforcement, enforce our illegal encampment law, and to aggressively prosecute and arrest people who are selling drugs. Because if the community can properly understand the role between these illicit narcotic drugs that are murdering hundreds of San Diegans, and by the way, 375 unsheltered people, but it's 1,300 people that died in total in the county last year. So this is killing thousands, 11,000 people in the state. These are huge numbers of people dying from this drug trade. We need to treat it seriously, and it's more important than ever for parents to teach their kids about the dangers of drugs. The drugs that we grew up with, they were dangerous and they would ruin your life. These drugs will kill you on the spot. Yeah. It's very important.
Mayor John Franklin, we appreciate you coming in, shedding some light on this story, and I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Thanks for having me.
All right.